All right, here we go. So, 5 properties from page 3. This information can be found on page 3. Okay, they are the commutative property, which says that in addition, A plus B is equal to B plus A. In multiplication, it says that A times B is equal to B times A. The associative property, in addition, says that if you add A and B first, then add C, that would be the same as if you added B and C first, and then added A. Okay? In multiplication, it says that if you multiply A and B first, then multiply that by C, that's going to be the same as if you multiplied B times C first, and then multiplied by A. Okay? Both of those properties tell you the exact same thing. What do they tell you? What do they really truly tell you? In multiplication and in addition, what? Doesn't matter what order. That's what it's telling you. It's telling you both of those are saying order doesn't matter. Okay? Then we went to the identity property. The identity property says that if you have A plus something, and that something is 0, you get A back. So if I add 0, nothing changes. Okay? Multiplication, it says that if I multiply by 1, nothing changes. Okay? This number here is called the additive identity. This number here is called the multiplicative identity. Okay. The inverse property says that if you take a number and you add to it its inverse, you get back the additive identity. A number plus its inverse gives you the identity. A number times its inverse gets you its multiplicative identity. Now, there was closure on that chart too on page 3. I'm not worried about closure. The other one that I wanted there is called the distributive property. And the distributive property says that if I have A times the quantity B plus C, that's going to be AB plus AC. We're going to take that and we're going to distribute it in. Okay? Now, if you draw the humps, hey, you go. You draw those humps. I still draw them, and I'm 42, pushing 43 years old. Okay? Listen. Expression versus an equation. Kent, what's the big difference?
An expression consists of numbers, operations, and groupings of symbols.
Okay, so this is just numbers and variables and operations, right? Okay? What makes an equation an equation? It's got an equal sign. Okay? The big kicker here is the equal sign. So much so that when you, with an expression, you can only simplify. You can only combine like terms. You can only distribute. You can't, you know what I mean? There's no sides to anything. You can just make it look pretty. Okay? With an equation, those are solvable. We can solve equations. Okay? We can find out what values of x make that equation true. We can find different parts to that. Okay? Some 4 key vocabularies. You know these already. You don't necessarily have to write these down if you don't want to. Okay? A power is an exponent. A variable is a letter that is used to represent an unknown quantity. Okay, in math. A term is a part that is separated by an addition symbol or a subtraction symbol. Okay? Those are parts of an expression, parts of an equation, parts of something that are separated by an addition sign or a subtraction sign. So for instance, 2x plus 7 has 2 terms in it. 2x is a term, 7 is a term. Okay? There are 2 terms in that expression. Okay? If I said 2x plus 7 equals 13, then it would have 3 terms. 2x would be a term, 7 would be a term, and 13 would be a term. A coefficient is the number in front of a variable. You know those already. Okay? Let's get into some math here now. Evaluating 3 to the 4th power. What is 3 to the 4th power? It is 81. Negative 3 to the 4th power is? It is not 81. This one is negative 81. Negative 3 in parentheses to the 4th power. That is 81. Okay? This one over here is really negative 1 times 3 to the 4th power. Okay? The exponent is only controlling what is directly in front of it. In B, it is only controlling the 3. In C, it's controlling the parentheses, which inside the parentheses is the negative 3. Okay? Negative 3 cubed is negative 27. Negative 3 quantity cubed is also negative 27. Odd exponents really doesn't have that rule. It's just those even ones because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay? Questions about that? Okay. Order of operations, you've seen them before. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? PEMDAS, if you will. Okay? Parentheses first, then exponents multiplying and dividing are done at the same time from left to right. adding and subtracting are done after that or last, also working left to right. Okay? So, if I were to do PEMDAS on this, the first thing that I would do is I would deal with what is right here inside my parentheses. So this becomes 3 minus 2 times 5. Then I would deal with the multiplication because multiplication comes before addition in PEMDAS. So this would become 3 minus 10. 3 minus 10 then is negative 7, and my answer here is negative 7. Over here on this one, I would deal with what's inside my parentheses first. So this would become 21 divided by 4 plus 3 minus 10. Then this would become 21 divided by 7 minus 10. Dealing with my parentheses first. Inside a set of parentheses, you then reorder or restart your PEMDAS. Okay, so exponents would come first inside, then multiplication, then addition. Okay. Here then I would deal with this, so then that would become 3 minus 10, and that leaves me with negative 7 again. In C, here the first thing that I would do is I would work this first because the divide is to the left of the multiplication. I'm going to do that multiplication and division at the same time, working left to right. So this becomes 3 plus 2 times 6. And then I would deal with the 2 and the 6. So that becomes 3 plus 12, which then becomes 15. Questions on those three? Adding a set of parentheses to this particular one to determine, to make it a true statement, I would put a set of parentheses here and here. Because then this becomes, this part here would become 25 minus 7, which then would become 4 plus, what is that, 18, divided by 6, which then would become 4 plus 3, which then gives me 7. Evaluating expressions, we have that x is 3, so we simply plug in 3 for x. So this becomes that minus that plus that. Change this to a 3, change that to a 3. 3 squared is 9 times 4 is 36. Minus 6 plus 3 gives me, 33. When m is negative 2, that's going to be 8 times that plus negative 2, negative 2, and negative 2. So that's going to be here. That's going to be negative 4 minus 9 is going to be negative 13. negative 16. So then that's going to be 2,197. So that ends up being 12. So what's that? 2209. Negative 22. Oops, wrong color. 09. Combining like terms. Okay. There's an x squared and an x squared. There's a x cubed and an x cubed. So that would give me then 4x cubed plus 13x squared minus 4x. First here I would distribute. And then I would distribute. Then my x squareds combine to be negative 7x squared. My y's combine to be negative 20y. Okay. Tonight, your homework is out of section 1.2. It is those problems. I have trimmed it down from years past, easily to be done by tomorrow. Okay, so it's due at the beginning of class tomorrow. Okay? Have a great day.